Registered Migration Agent at Oz's Group. Today's session, I'd like to talk to you about health occupations, different health occupations for PR pathway. So just to give you just a bit of a rundown of certain specific health occupations that you could enroll to study the course for to become either, let's say, registered nurse, enrolled nurse, physiotherapist, or even for biomedical graduates coming out, they could pursue as a lab scientist, medical laboratory scientist, or even lab technician, even pharmacist. So either you pursue a bachelor's or master's degree in pharmacology or to become a pharmacist, or else even pharmacy technician. These kind of health occupations will give you a really good, strong stance to pursue for your PR pathway for skilled migration, because for a long time now, these kind of skilled occupations are usually on the priority occupation list of certain states, especially in WA. So I'd like to focus mainly on Western Australia because I come from Western Australia. I was a group in Perth. So I'd like to mention a little bit about WA state nomination for the 190 and 491 visa that hopefully within this month or next month we'll know whether the state will start to crank up the invitation round. But before we go there with the GSM or the General Skilled Migration kind of discussion, I just want to go back to the certain courses that people could study to become these kind of skilled occupation, to obtain these qualifications to become, nurses, enrolled nurse, pharmacists, and all that. So usually all these health occupations require you to study at the university, either the bachelor's or master's degree. So please reach out to our education consultants at Oz's Group, wherever you are in any state. We have definitely offices all over Australia. So in WA, we've got 4 offices in Joondalup, Canning Vale, East Perth, and Northbridge. So please do reach out to our education consultants. We're here to help you to enroll, give you advice about the courses that you would like to study. And so if you are leaning towards occupations in the health sector, then for sure these occupations would be very beneficial for you once you graduate, if you choose to be in the health sector, either as registered nurse and, as I said, or the other skilled occupation, because what we're seeing that for the past year, last year, and even in the beginning of this year, up until March and into May, when the state invites skilled people, they mainly invited people from the who studied or who have pursued or nominated a skilled occupation that's in the higher demand, like a priority occupation list. So apart from other occupations that is in the priority occupation list, like in the building construction, like carpenters and bricklayers and wall and floor tilers and even civil engineers and all that, and then teachers and social workers. What's also on the priority occupation list of occupations would be these health occupations. Okay, so nurses, enrolled nurse, pharmacists, and pharmacy technicians and physiotherapists. Those kind of health occupations would be invited nearly every month, and usually at the low end of the point spectrum. So the minimum 65 points for 190 visa. We saw a lot of these people got invited at the minimum of 75 points for 190. Okay, so please do keep in mind that when you opt to study normally as let's say, to become a registered nurse or enrolled nurse, you need at least 7 each in IELTS or PT equivalent. So you need proficient English to be eligible to apply to study the course to become, these kind of skilled occupation. So if your English is, you're struggling to get that, then if you really want to pursue this kind of occupation, then you really need to improve upon your English, or else you will not be admitted to study the course. So we see, let's say for registered nurse, is either you do a bachelor's of 3 years or a master's of 2 years. And know that once you graduate, ANMAC is the relevant skills occupation, the relevant authority for your occupation as a registered nurse. They will not require you to show any one day of work experience before they will give you the recognition and give you the skills assessment to recognize you as a registered nurse. Okay, so you can specialize in any area, like, you know, preoperative, or you know, like mental, or aged care, or whatever. But as in general, across any specialization or just NEC, you only need to complete your bachelor's degree or master's, and you will get the completion letter, your academic transcript, and you can go online immediately to apply for your ANMAC skills assessment. You do not have to wait to apply to get ARPA registration to be able to work legally in Australia. You can still immediately apply to ANMAC to get your skills assessment first, for the purpose of pursuing your PR pathway through GSM. Okay, and so that's to become registered nurse. Know that if you want to opt to pursue the skilled occupation as an enrolled nurse, well, either you study at TAFE or IHNA, and it could be 1.5 years or 2 years worth of study for the diploma of nursing, and then you will be able to pursue to ANMAC to get your skills assessment. Again, you do not need to show any work experience once you graduate to obtain your positive skills assessment from ANMAC. Okay. Of course, that if you choose to do a diploma of nursing, know that right now, generally you're not eligible to apply for your graduate visa, okay, because the enrolled nurse is not part of the medium and long-term occupation list. So be aware that if you opt to pursue this particular skilled occupation only, then you need to find a way to stay longer, to be able to wait to get your invitation through GSM. So either study further, or you there's other options that we could explore on your behalf. So come and reach out to us and speak to any of our migration agents. We're here to help you, to find you different avenues to cater for your needs, to help you to give you a chance to have the best pathway for your PR. Okay, there's ways around certain things. So if in doubt, always reach out to us at Aussie's Group, okay, either our education consultants or our registered migration agents here. So in terms of all these skilled occupations in the health sector that I mentioned before, once you study the course and then you graduate, normally, if you're under 36 years old, you're allowed to apply for your graduate visa. So that's the normal population who study over here. Then for sure, you'll get your graduate visa after waiting a few months. And then you have more time to prepare, to collate your points, get your skills assessment, and then go online to put your name down on Skills Select, to put your name down for to lodge your EOR applications and put your name down for the 189 visa, the 190 or the 491. And then you continue to wait to be invited each month through the state, or usually 189, when they do start to crank up the invitation round, every 3 months they will do that. They'll invite for the 189. So how to get from graduating with your qualification in your hand and then to pursue to be invited for your PR? So today's session, I just want to give you a basic rundown for you to have a better idea. Sometimes people have no idea. So I do recommend that if you have no idea, then you should reach out to us and book an appointment to see our migration agents, and we'll give you an idea. But since you're here today, you followed us on Facebook. Once in a while, we do these live sessions, and it will be beneficial to you to follow us and to get some more information. So once you have your graduate visa granted to you, you're safe, knowing that you're now able to stay in Australia for at least 2 years, up to 3 years. Some people who are lucky, certain countries, you're able to stay longer than that on your graduate visa. Then, of course, the most important thing is to prepare to apply for your skills assessment as soon as possible and wait for that. Sometimes it doesn't happen overnight, most times, right? So it could take 1 month or 2 or 3 months later, depending on a certain authority body. So you have to wait for that outcome letter positive outcome letter for the authority body like ANMAC to recognise you in that particular occupation that you've nominated to be assessed, to be recognised for. So the day that you hold the outcome letter being positive from the authority body, know that you can immediately go online to SkillSelect to lodge your EOI applications, to put your name down for, expressing your interest for the 189 visa and the 190 and 491. And then you leave it there. Now, once you lodge and submit that EOI, it will last for 2 years. Okay, so it'll be in the system online on SkillSelect for 2 years until it expires. So essentially what happens is sometimes the first few months after you're lodging the EOI, your EOI, because you would note and you try to keep up, like every month you check every month to see whether you got invited. But sometimes life happens, right? Work happens, you get busy, even your migration agents get busy. And so don't fear, because as soon as the invitation starts to crank up, okay, and today they decide to invite people either for the state or the 189, even if we don't even realize that today is the invitation date, that they will invite people. But the computer online on SkillSelect would not forget. It's an automated thing. So if you got invited through, like say the cutoff is 75 for enrolled nurses or registered nurses today for the 190, then if you don't even notice that, invitation round is coming through today, but you will definitely receive an invitation if you meet the cutoff. So if it's 75 and you got 75, then for sure you got invited, right, potentially. And if the invitation was, 70, then, and you had 75, for sure you got invited. But what if this month today for registered nurses for 190, the cutoff was 80 and you only got 75? Well, for sure you didn't get invited. So don't worry if you forget each month when the invitation dates will come through. SkillSelect won't forget because it's automated. All right. So if you do meet the cut, you will definitely receive invitation. Okay. So let's say, let's focus on the state, WA. So today is the 1st of August. If today they invited people for the 190 or 491 and you received invitation for 190 as a registered nurse NEC, so the email will come through, and then the state will give you, the state will definitely invite you for the 190. So you have to, within a short period of time, within 14 days, you have to come back and accept this invitation, or else if you forget, the next day or the 15th day, then it will lapse. You've lost that invitation. So then you hope and pray to God that the next month you get invited again. All right. And it may be that they would continue to invite. If it's still a priority occupation like registered nurses, they would tend to invite every month. So you may, even if you, for whatever reason, by negligence or you forgot or something, you did not accept the invitation in time, there's always a good chance that you receive the invitation again. Okay. But of course, you need to be aware there's certain things you need to do. If you get it lapsed, you need to re-lodge your EUI for the 190 application again to be kept into the loop again. So these are kind of little things that if you don't know, always reach out to us at Oz's Group and to inquire and ask the right questions for us to be able to help you to answer for you. Okay, so let's say you got invited for the 190 today. So then you immediately or within a few days, you accept the invitation and you apply back to WA State to accept the invitation. It could take the state some time. In the past, they were severely delayed, but they've recently we've seen that they've cranked up the pace of the processing time. So it's not going to be so severely delayed, like up to more than 10 weeks later that they'll come back. It could be a couple of weeks to a month, roughly now, that they will come back to ask for any more documents from you. If they're satisfied, they will then move to approve of your application to them, the state. Once they approve, then there'll be a link from SkillSelect that we can click onto to go online to lodge your visa application. Okay, so it's pretty, smooth sailing if you've got all the documents ready. Okay, so if you have, then it's going to be smooth sailing, so you don't have to, be delayed any further. From the approval from the state of your 190 or 491 visa, or even for the 189 visa, you've got within 60 days to apply for the actual visa. You can have within 60 days to go online and lodge the visa application for the 189 visa or the 190, 491. Some people do it within a very short period of time. Other people, for whatever reason, they can delay, but make sure that you set the time in place so that you don't forget to lodge the visa application before the expiry date, or else you've lost that chance. Okay. Now, some people have asked certain questions like, what if they're currently on ART? So the situation could be they applied for a visa and they had that visa refused, and they have no choice but to apply to the ART, the Merits Review Tribunal, to fight the decision against the Immigration Department's decision. So they're currently on ART, but then they've just got invited for the 190. For sure, no problem. They can still be accepted by the state. So the state of WA, generally, many other states would not discriminate you if you're on ART. In the past, they did. I think before COVID days, if you had a refusal for a visa application and you're on ART and then you lodge your EUI, the state like WA would not want to accept your application. So, even if you've got enough points to be invited for 190 and then they picked you up, but then you claim that you're on ART, then the state would not accept your application. But I think it's after COVID, they changed the rules where the state doesn't mind now that if you're on ART still waiting, but you got invited for the 190 or 491, you can still apply for your visa onshore. Okay, WA state will still be willing to accept your application, so that's good. Okay. So that's that for ART people who fear that if they're on ART, does that mean that they cannot apply for GSM? No, you're able to do that onshore. Okay. So moving forward with this whole idea of general skilled migration, if you're lucky enough at the very beginning to choose to study and were able to be admitted to study, like to become a nurse, or even to become an enrolled nurse or pharmacist, or else if you studied overseas in pharmacy and you just came over, you could use your previous qualification as a pharmacist back home and still pursue as a pharmacy technician over here. You just need to show to the relevant assessing authority body like VetAssess that you've got a relevant qualification in pharmacy, like a bachelor's degree or a diploma, and you did some work experience at least 1 year post-qualification. They could potentially recognize you as a pharmacy technician, which means that even if you came over to do an MBA or a Master's of Public Health, but you used your previous qualification in pharmacy, and if you pursue your skills assessment as a pharmacy technician, you still could pursue and get invitation easily through the 190 or 401 as a pharmacy technician from the state of WA. Because from last time I checked, pharmacy technician is on the list for WA for 190, 491 as in the general stream. So not necessarily as you'd have to study here in WA or in Australia. It could be like overseas, and they could still invite you for the 190 or 491 as a pharmacy technician. And because it's priority, they would invite you at low points. So from potentially 70, 75 points, you could still be picked up. Mm-hmm. So moving forward for the future, let's say, we're only in August, right? So not need to, it's like moving towards the end of the year, but still so far, we've not heard anything from Department of Home Affairs about the migration program for the new financial year. It should have happened in June. We didn't hear anything. So, and last month in July, we haven't heard anything from DHA. So we hope that anytime within this month in August, we would receive, public announcement being made by DHA, Department of Home Affairs, about the quota for migration program, as well as the quota for different states in Australia. Once we know, then there's a chance that we can gauge the kind of like the level of invitation rounds that will churn out every single month until the end of the year into next year. But know that with confidence, because anybody who's studying within the health sector, so anything related to health, for skilled occupation related to health, you have a very good chance, the best out of everybody else, in other sectors, to be invited earlier and at lower points. Compare yourself with any other kind of skilled occupations. On average, you only need to show around 75 points on average to expect to receive at least the 190 or even 491 visa invitation. Other skilled occupations, they're going up to 95 points for 491 visa only to be invited for that particular occupation. So I still think that you have the best chance if you stick to certain areas, like in the health science, to become a nurse, enrolled nurse, physiotherapist, pharmacy technician, retail pharmacist. That kind of skilled occupation will give you the best chance for PR pathway. Okay, so any further questions, I do welcome you to reach out to us at any of our offices all over Australia, and specifically in Perth. We've got the Perth City office, Northbridge, where I'm at, and there's Canning Vale and Joondalup. We're all here to help you. It can get very difficult moving forward because the new changes happens every single few months, and with the kind of uncertainty that's happening right now, we don't know where we stand for you guys out there. So we are on top of everything. Anytime there's new changes that's being announced, we publicly will put it on Facebook. So follow us on Facebook for any new changes, any notifications. We will definitely post it for you to have a better idea. And then do reach out to us and make an appointment to see any one of us, our migration agents here. We're here to help you, to guide you for your skilled migration, for your PR pathway. Okay. So before I go, if there's anybody who wants to have any questions, I welcome you to make comments right now. I'll give you a few minutes, or else we'll just wait for you to make an appointment to see us in person. Okay, so I think it'll be it for today. And yes, so if you have any questions, please do reach out to us, and we're able to make an appointment to see us, any of our offices, and then we can help guide you from here. Thank you for following us. Thank you. Bye-bye.